All right, think about this for a second. For literally centuries, creating academic knowledge, the really deep, rigorous stuff, has been hard. It's been slow, it's been expensive. And that difficulty, that scarcity, is exactly what's made it so valuable. But what happens when a new technology comes along and makes all that knowledge, well, abundant? Today, we're diving into a really fascinating editorial from the Academy of Management Journal that says generative AI is about to completely flip the script on how we create, value, and even share ideas. And this quote right here, it absolutely gets to the heart of it. I mean, the entire structure of academia, we're talking professorships, those super prestigious journals, the whole tenure system, it's all built on this one single idea, that producing really good research is hard. And because it's hard, it's rare, it's scarce, and that's what makes it valuable. So the million-dollar question is, what on earth happens when that scarcity just disappears? Okay, so before we go any further, let's get on the same page. What are we even talking about with generative AI? Well, when we say Gen AI, you should be thinking about tools you probably already know, like ChatGPT or Midjourney. Basically, these are systems trained on just massive amounts of data, and they can create brand new stuff, text, images, you name it, that looks and sounds like a human made it. And in the world of academic research, their ability to just churn out text, whoa, it's not just a change, it's like a potential earthquake shaking the very foundations. So, here's our game plan for this explainer. We're going to tackle this in 4 parts. First up, we'll dig into that massive shift from scarcity to abundance. Then, we'll get into the exciting stuff, the incredible promise AI has for researchers. But of course, we've also got to look at the dark side, the serious perils. And to wrap it all up, we're going to explore 4 totally different possible futures for academia. Let's get into it. Okay, first up, let's really get into this core disruption because, this isn't just some minor update or small tweak. We're talking about a fundamental, ground-up change to what even makes knowledge valuable to begin with. So here it is, the central tension, right? In a nutshell. Look, in the past, becoming a scholar, an expert, took decades. You had to build up your know-what, all the theories, the data, the history of your field, and you had to build your know-how, the actual skills to do the research. What AI threatens to do is just compress that timeline like crazy. It could turn this super rare commodity, expert knowledge, into something that's basically available to anyone on demand. All right, so let's flip the coin and look at the other side, the incredible promise here. I mean, what if Gen AI isn't here to replace us, but to be a kind of super-powered research assistant, something that just amplifies our own brains? Let's take a look at how that could totally transform the entire process of scholarship. So the authors argue that AI could totally revolutionize all 4 key stages of research. Just think about it. For step 1, knowledge synthesis, imagine an AI that reads every single paper ever published in your fields and then just tells you where the gaps are. For step 2, knowledge development, it could help you design better experiments or analyze massive datasets in a fraction of the time. Step 3, evaluation, it could help journal reviewers spot their own biases or find things they might have missed. And finally, step 4, knowledge translation, it could take super complex research and make it understandable to anyone in any language. The authors call this the instant research paradigm, and yeah, you can totally see why. It's a game changer. But, and this is a huge but, with all that incredible promise comes some really significant peril. This technology is a classic double-edged sword. If we're not super careful, it could completely undermine the integrity of the whole scholarly process. So what are the biggest risks we're facing? And look, we're not just talking about students using AI to cheat on an essay. That's small potatoes. The risks here threaten the very foundation of how we trust scientific knowledge itself. The source points to 5 major threats here. First, you've got black box AI. That's where the algorithms are secret, so we have no idea how they reached a conclusion. Transparency? Gone. Then there are AI hallucinations. You've probably heard of these, where the AI just confidently makes stuff up. Even scarier? Deep research fakes. This is the intentional use of AI to fabricate data, citations, images, whatever it takes to support a lie. Then you throw in the fact that AI often lacks real-world, nuanced context, and the huge danger of reviewers using flawed AI to judge papers, and boom, you're staring down a genuine crisis of trust in science. So, okay, we've got this incredible potential for progress on one hand, and these absolutely existential risks on the other. It's a huge tug of war. So given that tension, what does the future of academia actually look like? Well, the authors say we can't predict it, but we can plan for it by thinking in terms of different scenarios. And this whole situation forces us to ask two questions that honestly cut right to the core of the profession's identity. First, if basically anyone can produce top-tier research with an AI assistant, then what does it even mean to be a scholar anymore? What makes them special? And second, if we're about to be flooded with a tsunami of high-quality papers, what's the point of a prestigious, exclusive journal? You can feel it, right? The old gatekeepers, the old markers of prestige, they're starting to crumble. To try and map out these possible futures, the authors say it all boils down to two really critical uncertainties. The first one is systems transparency. How much can we actually see inside the AI's brain? Can we understand its data and its methods? The second is societal regulation. How much are governments going to step in and restrict how AI is developed and used? The answers to those two questions, they argue, will basically determine everything. And check this out. These two factors give us four very different potential futures. Let's walk through them. In a world with low regulation and low transparency, we could get flooded with AI-generated junk we can't trust, which paradoxically makes human expertise even more valuable. Now, what if it's transparent, but still no rules? Well, you could get an explosion of knowledge production that just completely undermines the whole idea of an exclusive profession. Or, flip it again, high regulation could force a much more cautious, deliberate collaboration between humans and AI. And maybe the most interesting one, a world where the scholar's job totally changes. It's not about creating knowledge anymore. It's about verifying the flood of AI knowledge and figuring out its real-world impact. So after going through all these wild potential futures and this massive, massive shift from scarcity to abundance, the authors leave us with one final, really big question. It kind of boils everything down. And here it is. In a world of abundant knowledge, a world where AI can generate endless theories and data, to what problems in society is management scholarship the unique solution? In other words, what is the irreplaceable value that humans bring to the table? What can we solve that a machine can't? Answering that single question, well, that's probably going to define the future of not just academia, but of how we think about human knowledge itself.